So the people that did return home were sent to concentration camps. It was said that 2/3 of the people on that boat were sent to concentration camps and died. 600 people died out of the 900 people aboard the St. Louis. The first camps that were created were not designed to kill people. They were designed to make them into useful members of society. And they did end up killing many Jews, but it wasn't until gas chambers came around and death camps came around that they were really meant to kill. Then there was not only Jewish that were targeted during the Holocaust. The Nazis targeted anyone that had any imperfections and brought any imperfections to their society. So they believed that gypsies, homosexuals, physically disabled, mentally disabled, beggars, drunkards, anyone that was imperfect was sent to concentration camps. At concentration camps, in order to identify all the different people that were there, they first had tattoos which said what number they were, and just to keep track of them. Then they were given uniforms that were striped. They often did not fit correctly and were uncomfortable, were full of lice. But on the sides of the uniforms, they had different stars that were different colors to represent what class they were, or what religion, or what kind of person they were. For example, political prisoners were given a red star, homosexuals were given a pink, and Jewish people were given yellow. And sometimes they weren't stars, they were just triangles. Either way, that's how they used different colors to classify the people. And for Jewish people, before they even arrived at concentration camp, they were given yellow stars that they had to place on their clothing items so that they was visible, so that people of society could tell if they were Jewish or not. Once you got inside the concentration camps, there were many other ways that people died. For example, there was many guards that were uncruel with their treatment of prisoners. They would murder Jewish people and others as they wish, freely, and they would do it cruelly. They would beat prisoners to death, and they wouldn't think anything of it. They would torture them to death, starve them, and that's how more people died, was of starvation. But the worst of all was medical experiments that were conducted on people. If you look to the left, that was a medical experiment that was being conducted on a Jewish prisoner. And the types of experiments that they conducted on people were things such as depriving them of oxygen, giving them hypothermia, see how different altitudes affected them, so taking them up into airplanes of high altitude and seeing what would happen. They also used disabled children to experiment on. They also did things that were kind of mind-boggling, such as taking two twins and torturing one twin and to see if the other twin could feel it. Things that people wouldn't even imagine would be possible. But there came a time when Hitler's final solution came. His final solution was to basically exterminate all the Jewish people, to create genocide. He created methods that would systematically kill as many Jewish people as possible. And to do this, he created death camps. Inside those death camps, they had gas chambers. Gas chambers were disguised as showers in the death camps. Basically, the Jewish people were told that, you guys are going to go take a shower. They would step into the gas chambers thinking it was a massive shower, take off all their clothes, hang it on the wall, take off their shoes, and then they would lock all the doors and release the deadly gas. No one could escape, and many were killed trying to get out before the gas even affected them. The worst part is depending on how much gas they put in there, the painful death could last up to 20 minutes. Sometimes it was as short as 1 minute, which is still a lot worse than being shot. Which brings me to action groups. Action groups were created to also mass murder Jewish people, and they were just like groups of Nazis that followed the army into Eastern Europe, and they shot tons and tons of Jews. They would simply line the Jews up and shoot them into a grave, and most of the times the Jewish people had to dig their own grave before they were shot. After all this cruelty that the Jewish people went through, after death, their body was used to create products for households in Germany. Body fat was used for soap. They used their human hair that was shaved off once they arrived at the concentration camps for mattresses. They wove them into wigs, made them into slippers. And this was for actual German people. They also took their valuables, such as cash. They took all their wedding rings. They stole their shoes. And if you look to the right, this is a picture of thousands and thousands of Jewish shoes that were taken from the refugees and are now on display in a museum. In the end, the death toll was around 11 million to 12 million. 6 million Jews were killed, and 5 million others died, which included 2 million Polish people. The other 3 million was part German people who stowed Jewish people away. There were also people who were mistaken as Jewish people. They might have been 100% German or 100% Austrian, but they looked as if they were Jewish, so they were treated as if they were Jewish. If America hadn't intervened soon, or other armies intervened, then the Holocaust could have gone on for a lot longer and resulted in much larger death tolls.